Okay.
Sorry, I had the other one.
Okay. So it works? Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to talk. So I'm not going to bore you very long. It's going to be fast. So oh, thanks. Thank you. So it's going to be like 5-10 minutes. So I want to present to you today PCI, so Peer Community In, which is a quite new initiative that was funded by these guys, so Denis Bourguet, Thomas Guillemot, and Benoît Facon. And we are in the exhibition area if you want more information. So the what is about PCI. It's an initiative to create communities to review and so evaluate and recommend preprints. And at the moment we have 5 PCI. So we have evolutionary biology, ecology, paleontology, and anthropology and animal science. So the PCIs are all free for authors, readers. So it's basically diamond open access. And the idea is not to actually publish the text. The texts are preprints, so they're already somewhere, but to publish the recommendations of the text. So actually why you should read these papers. So it's kind of different from traditional journals. It's not really a journal, it's more like a reviewing initiative. So why did we do this? It's because there is a lot of value in publishing articles. So it makes things public, it ensures the quality of science because it's peer-reviewed, it defines the entirety of the results, it makes the articles findable, and it's an archive for the future. But we know, I mean we all know in this room probably, that it's a very inefficient system at the moment because there are a lot of submissions and rejection in Cascade, which in the end amounts to a lot of time between the time something is finished and the time it's published. And also with traditional journals, most of the time it's not very transparent in the sense that you don't, the reviews and decisions are not for the public, and the editor is not always known, and for the readers, you don't know why a paper is accepted or not. So this is also the why, but it has most linked to the publishing industry. So the publishers actually, the publishing industry is held by 6 big publishers. And well, I think you all know that, but the profit margins of this sector are so huge. I mean, it's an indicator of how insane the system is. Like Elsevier, for instance, has a profit margin that is double of the Bank of America. So you have to imagine exactly how, I mean, the amount of money that these guys are making out of us, actually, because we are actually doing the writing, evaluation, editing. I mean, everything is on researchers. So there is a problem with traditional publishing. But so now we got a lot of preprints out there, which have a lot of good points, lots of qualities, like it's free for authors and readers, it's available immediately, etc. So it's archived, there is almost everything in preprints except peer review. So the idea with PCI was to actually peer review these preprints because it's the one thing that is missing to actually reappropriate the publication system. So how does this work? So it's kind of easy. So you have your work already written somewhere. I mean, you have it written on your computer. Then one thing you do is you deposit it on a preprint server. So it could be any server, actually. I mean, we don't mind, as long as it's a permanent preprint server. And the second step is to actually submit the DOI or whatever link you have of the preprint to PCI. And so you can choose among the 5 already available. Say you actually submit to PCI Ecology, and then you select a number of editors, so we call them recommenders. And if one of them actually pick up the paper, then there is the preprint is going to be peer reviewed. And so there's going to be a number of revised versions that are, I mean, in between the discussions with the editors, the reviewers, and then sent back to the authors. And at the end, if the paper is actually accepted, so it's called recommended, then the recommender, so the editor, actually writes one page of recommendation, which says why people should actually read this paper. And we link the last version of the preprint with the recommendation. So if one stumbles on the paper or on the recommendation, one can also find the other one. And also we attach to the recommendation all the reviews, so all the reviewing process. So that's completely transparent for the public why this paper was recommended. So as I said, we don't mind about archives. So I mean, the big ones, archives, bioarchives, or Zenodo are well known, but actually we don't mind. I mean, all of these are also valuable. I mean, as long as you want your paper to be somewhere and you trust the somewhere to be permanent, well, we don't mind. It's an archive depository. So at the moment, as I said, we have 5 instances of peer community. So the oldest one is evolutionary biology. And then paleontology, ecology existed for more than 1 year. And very recently we had entomology and animal science that were created. So all of this is already available and we are looking for more. And for people that actually want the paper in the end to be published somewhere in the traditional sense, so we are not against the journal, and not at all. So the thing is that when it's actually recommended at one of the PCI, the idea is that all the reviews are mobile. I mean, you can take them and send them to a journal. And so what we did was ask the editors of a lot of journals what they thought about PCI and whether they would be PCI friendly in the sense that they would value the recommendations and use them for handling without peer review if they thought that it was well done. And like, this is a sample of the journals that said they are PCI friendly. So if you, for example, if you were accepted, I mean, if you were recommended at PCI Ecology, you could send it to Oikos and maybe that would work easier. But actually the good thing is that once you have the reviews, you can send them to do several different journals in a row. I mean, if one is not happy with the scope of your paper, then you can send them to another one. And we also have a lot of institutional support from different societies from so the French, the Nordic, etc. I mean, and the SPECOs, and we have support from different institutions like INRA and CNRS in France. We have also support from evaluation committee, and that is an important part. Is that if we want to move away from prestige and traditional journals, we also have to be able to change the way evaluation committees work. And we already started to do that in France with the several evaluation committees at the CNRS and INRA and IRD that actually did that. And also the doctoral school, so for thesis, so PhD chapters to be accepted as valid when they are recommended at PCI. So we already started this thing in France, but we are trying to do the same in other countries, but it's not so easy. And so this is the timeline of PCI. So it started in 2017 with PCI evolutionary biology, then the year after with paleontology and ecology. Now we got these 2 ones. Genomics is coming in the next months, and then we will have one in neuroscience, and we are discussing forest science and mathematical and computational biology. And the long-term discussions are about virology, ecotoxicology, registered reports. So actually, if anybody in the audience wants to start a new one, it's very open. Contact Thomas and Denis. They will sure be very glad about it. So thank you for your attention, and I'll be in the exhibition area if you have questions.